Friends, this is the story of a deeply loyal young woman. A woman who risks everything to save her fiancé's life from her own greedy brothers. But what happens next? Let's find out. Presenting Humanity. If you enjoy this story, please like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon. Thank you.
When you open your door to a traveler in the middle of the night, you enter into a silent social contract. The guest surrenders all defenses, and in return, the host guarantees a sanctuary of protection. For a young woman living in a remote village, security is a fragile thing. Orphaned and living under the strict authority of her two older brothers, her future is tied to an upcoming marriage with a successful officer. That future arrives early when the officer's car breaks down nearby. He seeks shelter at her home, carrying a suitcase containing his life savings. The family welcomes him with the expected hospitality. However, the presence of that much cash creates a specific kind of pressure on a household living in financial desperation, turning a place of safety into a potential trap. As soon as the guest falls into a deep sleep, the brothers' roles as protectors vanish. They look at the suitcase and then at the sleeping man, seeing an opportunity rather than a guest. Their plan is precise. At 4 a.m., they intend to kill the officer and bury him in the fields. By the time anyone realizes he is missing, his disappearance will look like a common robbery on the dark roads. They discuss the logistics openly, unaware that their sister is listening. In an instant, she is moved from the sidelines of her own life into a high-stakes moral crisis. She faces a brutal reality. To save the life of the man she is meant to marry, she must sabotage her own family, likely destroying her only support system and her reputation in the process. In her community, an orphan who betrays her brothers faces total isolation. There is no middle ground. Saving her fiancé means accepting that she may never have a home to return to. She is balancing the loyalty she owes her bloodline against the weight of insaniyat, the conviction that protecting a vulnerable life stands above all other loyalties. She monitors the house. Her sisters-in-law are asleep, and her brothers are already outside in the dark, preparing the ground for a grave. With the clock moving toward the 4 a.m. deadline, she slips into the guest room. She begins the terrifying task of waking the man her brothers intend to kill. Her decision represents a rare form of courage, choosing to do what is right at the exact moment it seems to guarantee her own ruin. The officer wakes up to a nightmare. He sees his future bride in tears, gesturing for him to gather his things and flee immediately. He is slow to understand until she reveals the truth. She explains that the men he just shared a meal with are currently outside, waiting for the hour to take his life. Realizing the danger, the officer disappears into the night with his suitcase. Moments later, the brothers enter the room with their tools, only to find the bed cold and the room empty. The brothers are left in total confusion, while the girl returns to her room in silence. She has no way of knowing if he made it to safety or if she will ever see him again. Sacrifice on this scale is often a lonely act. She acted without the hope of a reward, fully expecting that her integrity would cost her the very future she was trying to protect. Months pass, and the day of the wedding arrives. The bride prepares for a day of silence and shame, assuming her family has been disgraced. Instead, the sound of a traditional wedding procession fills the village. Emerging from the morning mist is the officer, returning not as a victim, but as a groom ready to claim his bride. He returns with a firm condition. The brothers and their wives are banned from the ceremony and permanently removed from the couple's lives. While away, the officer realized a woman willing to risk everything to save a guest possesses a character that is incredibly rare. He chose to honor that integrity. The groom had two paths. He could take formal legal action, imprisoning the brothers, However, a trial drags the bride through a public scandal. Instead, choosing total severance creates a protective barrier for her dignity, leaving the brothers with nothing. He removes her from the toxic environment of her village and brings her into his home, ending the influence her brothers held over her life. Choosing the right path when it guarantees personal loss is a rare form of courage. This single act of integrity saved a life and ensured their new marriage began on a foundation of profound mutual respect. Subscribe to stay connected with stories that explore the true depth of human character.